In 1975, Julie Cunningham vanished without a trace in Vail, Colorado, sparking a mystery that baffled investigators for years. Discover the chilling details of her disappearance, the eerie location where she was last seen, and the shocking confession from one of America's most infamous serial killers, Ted Bundy. Join us as we unravel this haunting true crime story and will keep you on the edge of your seat until the very end.
Julie Cunningham was a vibrant 26-year-old part-time ski instructor living in Vail, Colorado. On March 15, 1975, she left her apartment in the Apollo Park neighborhood to meet her roommate at a nearby bar but never arrived. This disappearance was unusual for Julie, who was known to be responsible and punctual. Julie's sudden vanishing was alarming to her friends and family. Born on January 10, 1949, in Winchester, Massachusetts, Julie had a close-knit circle of friends who quickly reported her missing. Described as 5'5", with brown hair and eyes, she was last seen wearing a brown suede jacket, blue jeans, and ski boots. Police classified Julie as endangered missing, partly because she was reportedly depressed and possibly suicidal. Her disappearance coincided with other similar cases in the region, raising fears of a serial predator. The recent discovery of Karen Campbell's body, another missing woman, added to these concerns. Julie's case garnered significant media attention, with appeals for information broadcast widely. However, despite extensive searches and numerous tips, no substantial leads emerged. The lack of evidence and the remote area of her disappearance made the investigation challenging. Julie was an outdoor enthusiast, often hiking and skiing in the Colorado mountains. Her friends couldn't believe she would just disappear without a trace. The community rallied around her family, but the absence of clues led to a growing sense of dread. In the months following her disappearance, the police continued to investigate, interviewing friends, family, and anyone who might have seen Julie that night. Despite their efforts, the case remained cold. Julie Cunningham's fate was unknown, leaving her loved ones in a painful limbo. The pattern of disappearances in Colorado and nearby states suggested a serial killer might be at work. The authorities began to connect the dots between Julie and other missing women. The sense of urgency grew, but tangible evidence remained elusive, deepening the mystery surrounding Julie's fate. Julie Cunningham was last seen in the Apollo Park neighborhood of Vail, Colorado. This serene, mountainous area is known for its scenic beauty and outdoor recreational opportunities. However, its remote and rugged terrain also made it a challenging place for investigations. The tavern Julie intended to visit was only a few blocks from her apartment, a popular spot for locals to unwind. The path she took was well lit and frequently traveled, making her sudden disappearance even more baffling. Friends and patrons at the bar had seen nothing unusual that night. Despite its idyllic setting, the area around Apollo Park could be isolating, especially in the evenings. The natural landscape provided numerous places for someone to hide or escape undetected. This made the search efforts by the police and volunteers particularly difficult. The proximity to major highways like Interstate 70 added another layer of complexity. The easy access to thoroughfares meant that an abductor could quickly leave the area, complicating the investigation. This factor contributed to the growing fear that Julie might have been taken far from Vail. Extensive searches were conducted in and around Apollo Park. Police used dogs, helicopters, and ground teams to scour the area, but found no trace of Julie. The challenging terrain and dense forestation worked against them, with many areas remaining difficult to thoroughly search. Local residents were interviewed, and flyers were distributed in hopes of jogging someone's memory. Despite these efforts, there were no significant breakthroughs. The community remained on edge, aware that a predator might be lurking among them. Julie's disappearance left a chilling mark on Apollo Park, transforming the area from a peaceful haven to a place of fear and suspicion. Neighbors became more vigilant, and the sense of security that once permeated the community was shattered. The unsolved nature of her case hung like a dark cloud over the picturesque landscape. The mysterious disappearance of Julie Cunningham in such a seemingly safe and familiar area underscored the randomness and brutality of her abduction. It served as a stark reminder that danger could strike anywhere, leaving residents to grapple with the unnerving reality that one of their own had vanished without a trace. Ted Bundy, one of America's most notorious serial killers, confessed to Julie Cunningham's murder while on death row. Bundy had a history of charming and deceiving his victims, often posing as an injured individual to gain their trust. This tactic proved fatal for Julie when Bundy encountered her in Vail. Bundy confessed to killing Julie as part of a last-minute attempt to delay his execution in 1989. He revealed that he lured her into his car under the pretense of needing help with his ski boots. Once she was close enough, he struck her with a crowbar and abducted her. Bundy's confession included chilling details about Julie's final moments. He drove her to a remote location west of Vail, where he raped and murdered her. He admitted to returning to the site a month later to bury her remains, a common practice for Bundy with his victims. Despite Bundy's detailed confession, Julie Cunningham's body was never found. Searches based on his descriptions failed to uncover any remains. The lack of physical evidence left some doubt, but Bundy's detailed knowledge of the crime and the circumstances matched known facts. Bundy's arrest in 1978 ended his reign of terror across the United States. He was initially apprehended in Florida after escaping from custody in Colorado. His capture brought a sense of relief, but also a grim realization of the scope of his crimes, which included murders in multiple states. During his trial, Bundy exhibited the disturbing combination of charm and cold-bloodedness. His ability to manipulate and deceive was evident, even as he faced the death penalty. His confessions came only when he realized that his execution was inevitable, providing closure for some families, but not all. The trial and subsequent media coverage turned Bundy into a macabre celebrity. Books, documentaries, and films have since explored his life and crimes, ensuring that his story remains in the public consciousness. His crimes, including the murder of Julie Cunningham, continue to fascinate and horrify. The aftermath of Bundy's crimes has had a lasting impact on the criminal justice system and public awareness. His case highlighted the importance of interstate cooperation in tracking and apprehending serial killers. It also underscored the necessity of vigilance and caution in seemingly safe environments. Bundy's confession to Julie Cunningham's murder added a tragic chapter to her story, but the lack of physical evidence leaves her case officially unsolved. Her disappearance, like many of Bundy's crimes, serves as a grim reminder of the dangers that lurk behind a facade of normalcy and charm.
Ted Bundy's psychological profile is one of the most extensively studied among serial killers, offering chilling insights into his mind. Bundy was a classic example of a psychopathic personality, exhibiting charm, intelligence, and an ability to manipulate those around him. He was able to mask his dark impulses behind a facade of normalcy, which made him exceptionally dangerous. Psychiatrists and psychologists who analyzed Bundy noted his lack of empathy and remorse, hallmark traits of psychopathy. His ability to appear charming and trustworthy allowed him to lure his victims with ease. Bundy's narcissistic traits were also evident. He believed he was smarter than the authorities and enjoyed the media attention his crimes attracted. Bundy's murders were not impulsive but highly planned and methodical. He selected his victims carefully, often targeting young women who resembled his first girlfriend, who had broken off their relationship. This rejection is believed to have played a significant role in his psychological development, fueling his rage and desire for control and dominance. Throughout his life, Bundy maintained a veneer of normalcy. He had relationships, pursued a law degree, and even worked on a suicide prevention hotline. These activities allowed him to blend into society seamlessly, making it difficult for those around him to suspect his true nature. In interviews, Bundy often spoke about his crimes in the third person, distancing himself from his actions. This dissociation is indicative of his deeply fractured psyche. His confessions, made in the days leading up to his execution, were cold and clinical, devoid of genuine remorse. Experts believe Bundy's behavior stemmed from a combination of genetic, environmental, and psychological factors. His early exposure to violence, conflicting identity issues, and deep-seated feelings of inadequacy contributed to his development as a serial killer. His need for control and power over his victims was a way to compensate for his own perceived weaknesses. Bundy's case has provided invaluable insights into the minds of serial killers, helping law enforcement and psychologists understand and profile similar offenders. His ability to evade capture for so long underscores the importance of early detection and intervention in potential psychopaths. The legacy of Ted Bundy's psychological analysis continues to influence criminal profiling and forensic psychology. By studying his behavior, experts hope to prevent future atrocities and develop better methods for identifying and apprehending serial killers before they can cause harm. Bundy's story serves as a grim reminder of the complexities of the human mind and the potential for evil that can lurk beneath a charming exterior.